Okay, we are in the thing. So we did yesterday chapter 8, completed it. So now we are starting chapter 9. Fine. The most confidential knowledge, Ajya Guya Yoga. Let us pay obeisance to Radha Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshulmitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Marabhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnamscha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sam Jevam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakana Vittam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Aveyevacha Patitam Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatesha Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So we have come. So we are doing. So we did yesterday in chapter 8, Krishna was talking about how unalloyed devotee surpasses the path of light and darkness. Now Krishna will explain how to become such a devotee. See, we saw how to remember Krishna at the time of death. That was he was explaining. And then he said in the end that only by devotion service and constantly remembering as a practice, we can come back to him. So now he is telling how to become such a devotee in this chapters. Okay. And in all that, he concludes the bhakti is the best form of yoga. See, whatever yogic practice, the yoga Mishra Bhakti or Karma Mishra Bhakti, everything finally ends up with bhakti. Okay, devotional service. So that is the best form of yoga. So now he is giving us the specific knowledge required for performing this confidential yoga. How we do that. So chapter 7 and 9 looks identical, well, because it is like, all are talking about the bhakti yoga, but in chapter 8, it just went to explain about the time of death. So that was the tangential thing we went to in chapter 8. But now chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge. And here is it's in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. It's in chapter 9, it's in the center. So this is the most confidential, which is Rajaguya. And we might have lot of educations, material education, and we do that. It is all about our skill, how to get a job, how to be in this world, material world, and things. This is what we learn in our colleges and thing. But this knowledge is the most confident because this is the knowledge which we can go back to the Lord. So here in this chapter, he stresses on hearing about Krishna. And what is the qualification? And this qualification is explaining. And only by hearing and hearing from devotees, hearing from spiritual authorities about the Krishna is what we can learn. And it's not by speculation or by just reading ourselves. See, just reading medical books, can we become a doctor? No, we have to go to a qualified person and enroll into a college. Only then we can understand what is there in the medical. Same way for any other courses we have, right? Same here with this, we need to hear from the right people. Aishwarya Jnana. Then he's talking about Aishwarya Jnana. What is this? Which is giving us relationship. Then he's talking about non-worshippers and worshippers. So here we know, see, once you know all about bhakti, so we need to know about the bhaktas also, right? Anubhav thing. So that is what is covered here. And in all that, Krishna is a supreme object of worship. So the glories of directly worshipping Krishna is stressed out in this particular chapter. Okay. So, and one thing I would like to tell you all is, whatever we have given in these slides is there in the purport. There's nothing changed. So only thing is you have to, if you go after listening and if you go through the purport, you'll see the same thing. So that's why the Aishwarya Mataji said, no, we don't share the PPTs, right? So, and mostly in this level 2, we will like you all to do little self-study. That's why we are making this Bhakti Shastri groups you have made, so that you have a group and you can study, have a group, small groups, so that you can go through the purports on your own also, right? So there are 5 sections here. Hearing about Krishna, Aishwarya Jnana, non-worshippers and worshippers. Krishna is the supreme object of worship and glories of this. So what is a qualification if you want here? So here, non-enviousness allows one to hear confidential knowledge about Krishna, and faithlessness forces one to birth and death. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha idam tu te guhya tamam pravakshami anushruya ive nanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase subhat. Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material envies. At least you can, anyone tell me what do you mean by envious? Envy. Hare Krishna. I've been talking about this. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. All are there? Can tell me the meaning of envy. Hare Krishna.
Jealousy, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else can try?
Yes, Mataji, this is something that was extended in level 1, basically in a statement that I like what you have, but I don't like it that you have. This is envy.
Yes, Mataji. That is, I don't like what you have. So if you are envious of Krishna, envious of Krishna's power, envious of Krishna's opulences, then we can never understand this knowledge, this wisdom. So he says to Arjuna, you are never envious of me, so I shall impart to you this secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries. Miseries of material existence are there, no? Threefold material existence. What are they? Hare Krishna. Threefold miseries of material existence. Hare
Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik, and Adi Devik.
Yeah, so from the, you can explain also. That is miseries from, miseries from our yourself, from our own mind and body, and miseries from our living entities, from the other living entities, and miseries from the Adi Deva, that is natural calamities.
Yes,
yes. Okay, Hare Krishna. So here he says, imparts most confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna, because he is that is actually what happens. See, we have confidential knowledge in chapter 2 and 3. We understood that we are the soul and not the body. Okay. But just knowing the theory, we may not be able to get to understand Krishna, because we know we are soul and we are not the body. But it is useful, okay, for liberation. But how to go about it? How to think? So here Krishna is saying, the knowledge which brings about enlightenment. So if you want to go back to the Lord, we need to know about him, right? About his energies and what is his inconceivable power. So what is that? It was explained in chapter 7 and 8, right? So no, so we know we are the soul and that is the first confidential knowledge. This was imparted to us by Krishna, starting the chapter 2 and 3. Then in chapter 7 and 8, he talked about his energies. Unless we know about it, we cannot maintain a relationship with the Lord. See, if you want to know about, if you want to be a friend to somebody, you need to know more about it. The more and more about know that person, then you'll get more and more attracted to him, isn't it? Same way here, Krishna is giving about his opulences and energies in chapter 7 and 8. Now, because we are talking about unalloyed devotion and delineates the glories of the Lord. So now in chapter 9 is explaining more about it. That is the most confidential. So for this, we need to be hearing. So imparts most, and here he explains why it is most confidential and more, what is the qualification to realize. We have to be free from envy. If you are envious of him, we cannot understand the Lord. Even in the end, in the chapter 18, he says, don't impart this knowledge, this science to people who are envious of me or who are not doing devotional service or are just a or you are not a devotee and all. Please mute all. Okay. Okay, background noise. Thank you. So, unless we are envious, even in chapter 18, in the concluding session also, Krishna says, don't tell these signs to people who are envious of me or who are not a devotee of me or who don't do devotional service. So, and what is the means to receive? You have to proper hearing. Hearing from the authorities, right? And what is the benefit? You will get relief from the miseries of the material science, existence. So knowing this, we slowly get relief from the material miseries because we are more focusing on the Lord. So this is why it is pure and it is the king of education. Because whatever other education we have, we need that to be in this world, okay? But this knowledge we need to get relief from the miseries of the material existence. Whereas the others will not get relief. Okay, so he explains that this is the most confidential knowledge. And there are 9 devotional services, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Shakyam, Atmanivedam. So you can Prahlad Vacha. So here in Srimad Bhagavatam, on 7th canto, 5th verse, 5th chapter, 23rd, 21st, Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam. So these are the 9 devotional services you can take up and to be in this devotional path. And most important is Shravanam. I mean, for us to start, who are the beginners, we are in the thing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So at least we can start thinking of him and start listening to him and do our Harinama Kirtana. Okay, do that. So by doing that, we'll be able to take up serve the Lord. So this is the starting point for us. And we should be guided by the thing. So Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. And this is the Uttamam. Okay. And Pratyaksha Vagam Dharmyam Sushukam Kartam Abhyayam. And it is the perfection of knowledge, is everlasting and is joyfully performed. Okay, the most secret of all secrets. And is pure because we are talking about the Lord. It's the most pure knowledge and no contamination. And it is about a self-realization, isn't it? So this is what Raja Kuya and the most secret. Further glorification of this knowledge. He says it's the king of knowledge because it's the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. And this talk about the eternal activities of the soul, and this gives us positive information. So, and why we need to know all this? So here we have the stages of things. And it is purifying the potencies because only devotional service can purify. See, that's what says even in Shishtashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpanam Majanam. That is Mahabhava. By chanting and chanting, we get purified. And whatever the dust and whatever the things we have carried throughout the things gets cleansed. So actually, we have been in ignorance. And there are a lot of desires which could have been in the bija form. And if we act on it, then it may not, you may not act on it today. It might be there dormant in you, and slowly you might later take up do the actions. Once you do the papam, then you will have reactions for it. And it could manifest now in this birth, or it could manifest in the other births, right? But it will be the prarabdha. Okay. And then what happens is that once you do, like, if you start drinking, then you start getting into that habit of drinking, and that becomes like a sinful disposition. Then you're getting addicted to it. Same way with the sinful actions, once you start, some people might have started killing somebody, and they like that thing to kill somebody and to see their agony. And they start killing and killing and killing because they get into that addiction. So that is known as sinful disposition. So if that is one problem, then you will get into this kutam. So, and prarabdha, then it gets prarabdha manifested. So to get relief from these stages of reaction, we need to purify ourselves. And purifying is by devotional service. Okay. Sinful actions, 4 stages, growth of a tree from a seed as difference. And pavitra implies all the 4 stages can be purified. So pavitra, that is why we need to know this, implies beyond tamas. Okay. Any clarifications on this? Why we need to know about this confidential knowledge? Because it is purifying. Purifying potency is what the devotional service has. Okay. Hare Krishna. Then further glorification about this knowledge. How to get direct perception of the self by practicing devotional service in the association of advanced service. Only then we can start understanding and then think. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra without terms, one feels transcendental pleasure and gets purified quickly. And also if one further helps in the mission, one makes spiritual progress. So this is how the qualification is. Advancement is irrespective of previous education or qualification. So all you need to have is to have faith and not be envious of the Lord. So that's all you require to this. You don't need to have any other qualification. Whether you are learned in the scriptures or not learned, that's not important. All you have to have is to get association with devotees and to understand. Then it's a perfection of religion as Sukta, it is based to. And you can see people who are doing this Hare Krishna Sankirtan, they're always happy. Okay. So this is what Krishna says, that this knowledge which is giving us, it is most perfect and it is for self-realization and it is abhyayam, it is everlasting and it is thing. So, Ashtadam Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprayamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vatam. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me. O conqueror foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. So what is first thing? We should not be envious of the Lord. And another thing is we should not be faithful. We should be faithful and not unfaithful. So in the path of devotional service, we should have faith and we should be faithful. Only then we can attain the Lord. So here he clearly mentions, that is, who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain. You just take it that devotional service for the show and that you want to do, you are in this pious activities only for attracting people, then you will never think. Because even the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na. He doesn't want followers, he doesn't want money, wealth, nor even thing, because he wants only devotional service, life after life. So faithlessness cannot attain Krishna. Okay. So what is faith? Simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Like, if you just water the root of the tree, that's enough. You don't have to water the leaves and things. All you need to have, simply serve Krishna. That means you should have faith. If you didn't have faith, even a little amount, you won't have been in this class. All of you have Shraddha. You all have a little bit of it. Okay. All of us have. So faith is the most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. But how it is created? Sadhu Sangha, by association of devotees. It gets stronger and stronger because you keep hearing and hearing about the Lord. No, and there are in the beginning stage, they might have not much faith, but you don't have much knowledge of scriptures, and you can easily fall down. Though you're engaged in devotionals, you are doing Mangalati, or doing Harinama, chanting and all that. But if you don't have faith, you don't have Shraddha should be there. Then you can easily fall down. But you can increase it. That is the lowest. But you have faith, but you have advanced, but you are not advanced in the scriptures. You're simply trying to follow by association and simplicity. That is, you just have faith and you know that Sadhu Sangha will help you to advance. So you have just put the faith in the association. So by simply trying to follow by association and simplicity, you can advance. You don't need to know the scriptures so well. That is the second level. That is, your faith is getting firm. It is getting strengthened. Then firm faith and well-versed in things, that is the first level, highest level. Okay. So Krishna says only faith, development of faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. So that is what we are doing here with chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. What we are doing is slowly we get purified because of the thing. And listening to the being in the association of devotees, our faith gets strengthened. And once the Shraddha starts increasing, then we can advance in the process of a spiritual advancement. Okay. So this is the thing. That's what he says, two things. What are the two things? Hare Krishna. Not to be envious, I should have faith on the Lord. Aishwarya Nana Krishna's Achinta Beda Abeda relationship with Krishna pervades, creates and annihilates the entire cosmos through his material energy. Although Krishna is a supreme director, the material world nevertheless moves independently and Krishna thus remains neutral and detached. So now he's talking about his relationship with the material world. He's there, but he's also not there. And he's pervading and it is moving on its own. So now we talked about the knowledge. Now he's going to talk about his relationship with the material world, because we are in this material world, right? We are in this cosmos. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham tesha avastha. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in. So it is that he is there everywhere. And like sunshine is there, no, in the thing. Just because sunshine is in my house and in the trees and everywhere, and he's also outside. He's there in the universe. Same way the Krishna is there through his energy in everywhere, in all the universe. And he's in us also as Paramatma. But I'm not in them. It looks very contradictory, but it is not, because his potentials are inconceivable. Can't think of it. It is so powerful. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although maintainer of all living entities, although I'm everywhere, still myself is the very source. So as the mighty wind blowing everywhere always rests in material space, know that in the same manner all beings. See, the wind is the whole thing is blowing everywhere, but it is within our the atmosphere, isn't it? It doesn't go beyond that. Same way he says, everything rests in him. So that is the example he gives. So he is there and maintaining everything. So the text by living entities do not rest upon him. Oh, inconceivable mystic opulence. We should understand that. Everything that is good does not rest in me implies everything still is aloof and all. So how he is alive, he gives the example of his Savyam, everything everlasting. So, at the end of the millennium, all material must enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another, by my motives, I created. So this we saw, no, in the chapter 8 also, he says how at the end of Brahma's day, we all go back to him, and again it comes back during the Brahma's night. We are inside the Lord Shirodakshina Vishnu, and again he get manifested. Same here, at the end of all millennium, all material manifestors enter into my nature, into his womb. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my purpose, I create. So by his will, we come out and we go back. The whole cosmic is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again. And by my will, it is annihilated at the end. So all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached, seated as though neutral. So he does this depending upon his will, but doesn't mean that he gets attached to it. It's neutral. Okay. So that's how it comes in, and then again. So now he's talking about his relation with creation. Why is he talking all about it? We should understand that, because he is telling he is the Supreme Lord. So it is everything coming through him, and everything, even creation and destruction. Okay. And everyone today, they are talking about Darwin's theory that you got evolved from the storm and then how you came to man. But here he clearly disproves that. Nothing comes as an evolution. Okay. We are put into different houses, different bodies, depending about our karmas, about the past histories, and about a past desire. Because of a desire and a mentality, we would have desired a particular body. Okay. And it could be a dog body, it could be a demigod's body, or it could be a cat, or to the human. So depending about the desires and the thing, we get our senses different. So that mentality which we had, that's how we get from our past. It is the thing. We don't get evoluted. So from the Darwin's theory, it doesn't come in this. So how the material world is maintained if Krishna is Parameshwara is that. So modern concept that there is gradual evolution of species from one to the another, beginning from creation. They will talk of the Big Bang theory. Suddenly it came. That looks only chance. It looks like a thing, and there's no proof for it. There's only theory of the theory these scientists claim. But here in the scriptures and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly explains that he is the one who is creating, and he is the one who is all the living entities are part and parcel of him, and we are in the different bodies or different relationship today because of our past desires and how we relate to the other entities. So all species of life are created immediately along with the universe at the beginning of creation, not one after another, based on desires and past deeds. So it doesn't come one little bit, first you come as a fish, and then this. It's not like that. Everything, all jivas come out of it. The minute the cosmic universe is created, along with the jivas come, and they will come and take up their particular body depending on their desires and the past deeds. Okay. So we get our houses accordingly. We don't get evaluated from one or the other. So it creates a thing. And he's always present, and he's not invalid. Okay, what is the basic? Everything definitely under the will. No blade of grass moves without the Lord's will, isn't it? That's what he says. He enters as three Vishnu forms into the Mahatattva. Material nature acts by Lord's desire, which implies Krishna has no direct involvement, acts through the material nature. That is, he sanctions it, and it is the material nature which will form that particular body and give it to us. Takes place to accommodate inclinations of the desires of various living entities. Till now, you have any doubts? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, what is this SPOG? Material world, interior and...
Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Hare Krishna. I mean, this we have to understand clearly, because we are not how the Mahat Tattva, no? How we get the universe, I mean, the universes are formed and all the jivas come out created. It's not, see, we are eternal. So we are not created then. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So we were there with him in the spiritual world because of a desire to enjoy. We had that independence there. So because of that propensity to enjoy, so Krishna had made this creation, material creation. Okay. And because of that, we have been in this world. And so if we, depending upon the desires and past deeds, we are going into this cycle of birth and death. Okay. And once it gets annihilated, we are back into the Lord's womb. And again, when it's created, we come out. Okay. So unless we get liberated from the cycle of birth and death, we need to go back to the spiritual world. So that is our goal in life in this as a human form. Okay. So this is what he clearly says in this thing, that we are based on desires and past days of thing, we are coming here. Okay. We need to remember this clearly, because how we have come and why we need to go back and what is our goal in life, and that we need to remember. Madhyakshati prakrit suhete characharam hetu nane kaunteya jagat viparit. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it's producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created. And so this material nature is working on this. So he has created this material world. Like if you're born as a dog, then we'll have all the nature of a dog, as a barking and thing. And it is, we are controlled by the material nature. So depending upon whatever body we are given, we'll be under that thing. Only thing is, only as a human being, we are, our consciousness is higher level and we are able to take the shelter of Krishna. So here, if you are in the other beings, you are still working under the law of material nature. So that's what. Now we come, see, till now we talked about, we said confidential knowledge. What is that? To know about the Lord, right? The bhakti. And now he's going to talk about two extreme people. One is non-worshippers and then the worshippers. Because now he talked about his inconceivable opulences and what is his relationship with the material world, right? We understood that. So now in this 5 verses, he's going to tell about the two extreme people. One is the non-worshippers and the worshippers. So first he says, fools who think Krishna is an ordinary human being possessing a temporary form become atheists and are defeated in their endeavors. Now he talks about these 3 verses, definition and qualifications of a Mahatma. That is the two extreme people. Avagnati mam moda manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajnato mama bhavbhuta mahesh. Fools deride me when I decide in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over them. So when Krishna was here, people never thought him as they thought him as an ordinary person. You have seen that, no? Even when Duryodhana, when he was showing his form, during when he came as a peace to ask for peace. That time he showed, but they thought he was just a magician. He didn't understand the true nature of the Lord. Even Dhritarashtra knew it, but he couldn't accept. He was so attached to his son's thing that, and to his throne, that he didn't accept it. So fools deride me. So why do they do that? Then Krishna is talking about this, avajnanati. So we need to understand these 3 terms. Jnanati is understanding Krishna in truth, leads to liberation. That's what he told in 4.9, right? In transcendental knowledge, when he was talking in chapter 4, he says, understanding Krishna will lead to liberation. And many Mahajanas have attained liberation by that way. But ignorance of Lord, we continue to be in the cycle of birth and death. So if you are again bad, avajnanati, which he says here, it is misunderstanding about Krishna. Here we don't even know about Krishna, so we are continuing as a cycle of birth. Here we misunderstand Krishna. We think him as an ordinary person, as a magician. We don't think him as the Lord. So we'll again increase our bondage in this world and greater suffering. So these things we should understand. So misunderstanding, totally ignorant is okay, but misunderstanding is something wrong because we are not able to understand the Lord properly. And why we get into misunderstanding? Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by the demonic and atheistic views because they want to lord over them. They have lusty desires, their anger and their greed because of the demonic nature. And atheists think they think there's no Lord. We can do everything. So that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, fruitive activities, and culture of knowledge are all defeated. So Krishna says, because of the Rakshasam Ashurim Jaiva, because of their views, their hopes for liberation is not. So this is one end of it, who are Ashuras, who are Rakshasas, who have no, they are atheistic and they don't believe in the Lord and the things. So they are the non-worshippers. Okay. Now he is going to give us the qualification of the Mahatmas. So what happens to this fate of Duratma? The fate of those out of bewilderment disrespect Krishna's word. They are attracted by damnous things and hopes for retreating are defeated. So we have here two extremes. No? We have the Bhakt Prahalad and Hiranyakashipu. See, he didn't. He thought he is the everything because he got the benedictions from Lord Brahma. He thought he could do everything. And he was not believing in how Prahlad was getting saved. He was under shelter of whom, and he was wondering how, with whose energy he is being protected, that he was even went to the extent of killing his own son. But this is the extreme thing, the demonic nature. Okay. So their fate is they will never get liberated. So now he is talking about Mahatmas. Mahatmas tu mam pata daivim prakritim ashriti bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadmi avyayam. So what do the Mahatmanas do? That is the other end. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are in the Daivam Prakritim Ashraya because they have taken the shelter of the Lord Krishna. So they are under his protection. They are, and what do they do? Going under him, under his protection, they surrender unto him. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as a supreme personality of Godhead, original and innocent. Because of this understanding, they go under his protection and they are fully engaged. And what do they do? Satatam kirtyanto mam etansta tridda vrata namasyanti cha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasati. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. I think this is what Prabhupada spread this mention. He said, went on talking about the glories of Harinama Krishna. So this is how you have the best example is our Mahatma is the Srila Prabhupada. And if you see his journey and his mission, how he spread this mission, you can understand that he had great determination because even at the age of, when he was old, 66, 17, and basically health gave way, but still because of his great determination, because he wanted to follow his spiritual master's orders to spread this Krishna consciousness in the English-speaking people. So he went to US and started this great movement, ISKCON. Okay, so they are always worshipping and even install a lot of temples so that people will have a place to talk about it, place to chant, and place to have sadhu sangha. So always what do? They external activities of Mahatmas are they are sitatam kirtayanto, always chanting my glories and chadridat. And why? They do it with great determination and they are nitya yukta upasati. Great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with great devotion. So this is how a Mahatmas are. Okay. So Jnana Jnana Chapi Anya Yajanto Mam Upasate Ekatvena Pratvena Bahoda Vishu. Though others who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in this. So there are others who start worshipping him. So with this, I stop because we are going to talk about the worshippers in the universal form. People who like to worship the Lord, not the personal form, but the universal form. That is when he gave that universal form, darshan, no? In the thing, they like that. And there are people who worship the demigods. So he's going to talk all that in the coming sessions. So with this, I stop because I would like you all to read these verses, so that we can have more discussions when we take up the next chapter. Okay.